What is up, Raveraide fam? Welcome to another episode of the Raveraide podcast with your host, Tyler Hardy. And as always, I just want to take a moment to express my overwhelming love and gratitude for each and every single one of you guys who tune in on a daily and weekly basis to talk all things Raveraide, with the main intention of just helping you become the most self-actualized and self-loved version of yourself. Because I know that when we get as many people to that place as possible in this lifetime, we're going to solve a lot of the world's problems and really make this an amazing place for everyone to live and thrive and be abundant and prosper. So on today's episode, I want to talk about something that's really, really important. It's an essential foundational piece towards living a high quality existence. And what that is it's self-respect. And I will, obviously dive into like my past and, times when I was not self-respecting myself and what that experience was like and what that was manifesting for me in my life and the type of people it was manifesting and the experiences that it was manifesting versus now where I have healthier boundaries and I have a lot more self-respect for myself and the things that I do on a daily basis and how that's completely shifting my entire paradigm and how important it is to make sure that we have that foundation of self-respect, because when things come up that aren't for our highest good or our best, potential outcomes, we're easily able to stand in our power and respect ourselves and not allow those things to happen. And that's such a powerful tool to have that so few people are actually taught. Just because a lot of our parents are people who didn't respect themselves, they didn't respect each other. They just complied and, formed to what life told them that they needed to be. And for a lot of us, I think we can look at our parents and say, hey, you know what, like I don't want to live that life, or there's things that I like and there's things that I didn't like. And, there's beauty in that experience, is being able to look at that. But more or less, it's imperative that you have a high level of self-respect for yourself. It is crucial, because if you don't respect yourself, how are others going to respect you? The way you respect yourself tells others how you expect to be respected and treated. And the way that you treat others is, the way that you would like to be treated yourself. And so kind of going back into it, the time frame I would say is like probably like right after high school and to 23, 24 years old. Like I lived this life of like zero self-respect. I had just had the gnarly relationship and I gained like 300 pounds. I was eating terribly. I was not exercising. I was disassociating. I didn't love my work. My work was super stressful that I was doing. Again, like I mentioned in previous podcasts, been in a place where I really thought that I had messed my life up because of the fact that I didn't decide to go play baseball in college, and I just thought that I completely took my life in the wrong direction. Fast forward now, not the case, but it was one of those things where at that time frame I thought that I had, I lost a lot of self-respect for myself. And after allowing myself to be in an unhealthy relationship for such a long time and, go through that whole emotional roller coaster of, being cheated on and all those different things that happened in that relationship, it really diminished my self-respect and self-worth and self-value. And as a result of that, I was not taking good care of myself. I was not healthy. I was disassociated. I was stressed. I was like everything that you wouldn't want to be in regards to living a high quality existence. I was those things. And it's miserable. And it's one of those things where, I don't want humans to experience that. And I know that there's a greater potential for people who are living like that right now, even though it may seem that there is not. And I hope that, when I share what I'm sharing, it's, serving as an example that there is a potential and a greater capacity that anybody could live at if they so choose. And it might be messy at the beginning. It might be, challenging or hard, or so the mind thinks that it is. And as a result of that, it seems like it is, and it manifests in such a way. But if you just stay consistent on a daily basis and just focus on the 24 hours that are right in front of you, that's when you can really start creating a lot of magic. And that's how you can start, correcting and gaining more awareness around the things that have been keeping you from living a quality existence. And so, I went through that for a few years. I lived in some like really like sub-ideal places too, like the places I was living, the people I was spending time around, the isolation, all the things I was doing like were just as a result of like low levels of self-respect. And then eventually, that relationship came to an end, and I had gotten to my like a breaking point really, with the relationship, with every single thing that's going on in my life. I was, at 300 pounds, looking at the scale, like super disgusted with myself at that time, and really just, not in a good place. And, I knew that something had to change, and I knew that I couldn't tolerate that version of myself anymore. And, in the beginning, like when you're stuck in like a lower vibrational place, or that's where you're, residing in, like mustering up like positive emotion can be a challenge. It's definitely one of those things where, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel necessarily. But what I will say is that you can transmute that energy of frustration or anger or, intolerance into action. And so a big motivation for me in regards to like getting back to a healthy weight was like, it wasn't necessarily out of doing it out of self-love. It was doing it out of like frustration, anger, the lower vibrational frequencies, because that's all that I was residing in. And it was one of those things where I, did use those in a positive way. And so there's a gift inside of that, is the ability to transmute emotion that's heavy, that's less than ideal. And if you're someone who's experiencing something like that right now, you can use that energy as a catalyst for change. You can use that energy and alchemize it into, more activity physically, harder, like working harder, taking better care of yourself, setting boundaries with others, like whatever the need is, you can use that. And it might display itself in not the healthiest ways, but that's the purpose, is like, if like it's not an overnight type of thing with this healing process to do it in a quality fashion. And so, you're going to have those unconscious interactions with others. You're going to have times when ego jumps in. You're going to have those experiences. It's just about gaining the awareness over time that helps you recognize your contribution to the creation of what you're experiencing in your life. And that's the thing that will ultimately free you as you continue to go down the path. But at that time, it was just really not living, with self-respect. I wouldn't stand up for myself. I wouldn't speak up for myself. I wouldn't, I would always be the one who was self-sacrificing myself, to try to receive love from others. And that's a quick way to live a miserable existence, because it's not other people's job to love you. It's your job to love you, and then set the standard for how you like to be loved and like how you love others. And that shows others what you expect, and so it was one of those things where I wasn't doing those things. I wasn't caring for my body. I wasn't caring for my mind. I wasn't caring for my spirit, that I, didn't even really have much consciousness around. I was a very unconscious person a few years ago, like very in the program, running on autopilot, numbing myself out with food, substances, all these different things, right? And placing my value in others, which is a big thing as well. That's a huge thing that people who have little self-respect do, because they place their value in the opinions of others, when in reality, as I've continued to grow and evolve, I am in a place where I realize that most people's opinions are very irrelevant, and that very few people are actually have validity in anything that they say and anything that they do. And so, as you begin to find more truth within yourself, you start to see other people who are living in that truth and embodying that truth. And those are the people that you actually do value insight from. But generally speaking, when you get to that point, those kind of people aren't the ones trying to impress themselves on you and imprint their beliefs onto you. They're just trying to assist you, because we all know that we're one, and it's our job to help assist one another to get to that next level and whatever it is that we're experiencing in our life. And so, I'm not really sure where I was going with that, but anyway, so basically what I'm getting at is like, you need to have a self-audit with yourself, because awareness is the most important thing. The most important thing that I could ever teach you is high levels of awareness create freedom, it creates space, it creates opportunity to make different decisions for yourself. And so, it was one of those things where, again, I just got to the point where I was intolerant of the situations that I was living in. And over time, my living situations have continued to get better, my home situations have continued to get better, financially continue to get better, opportunities continue to get better because I've continued to get better. And it's a reflection of what I'm experiencing in my life. And that's what I really want you to know, is that like everything that's going on outside of you is just a reflection of your internal state. And the more work that you do internally, the less you have to do out there, because more things that are in alignment for you effortlessly come to you. And that's the power of really doing that deep inner work. And so fast forward, I want you to ask yourself these questions. I want you to ask yourself what your level of self-respect is. And think about like your relationships. Think about if people take advantage of you. Think about if you allow yourself to be taken advantage of. Think about your boundaries that you have with your boss or your work or others or yourself, or habits that are not healthy for you. Because people who respect themselves do the things that they know that they need to do, even if they don't feel like doing them, because they respect themselves and they want the best for themselves. And if you're one of those people who are like in the middle, that's totally, I believe that everyone's perfectly exactly where they need to be at every given moment for the life experience that they chose to have. But you need to ask yourself these questions, and that way we can gain some awareness, so we're not continuously sitting on the perpetual cycle of repeat patterns. Because if you're repeating patterns in your life, there's a good indication that there's a lesson that you've yet to alchemize and learn. And so it's really important to ask yourself that question, how are you respecting yourself? Are you respecting yourself by the people that you have around you, the work that you do, the way you respect your money, the way you respect your time, the way you respect your emotions, the way you respect your mental health, your physical health? How do you respect yourself? On a scale of 1 to 10, give yourself a score of how you respect yourself. And that'll give you a really good indication for the basis and foundation of, where your life is heading. If you tolerate things that, and let things slide and not say anything and don't stand up for yourself, you're going to keep manifesting from a place of frustration. And I can speak firsthand on that. That was one of probably the biggest things that I've allowed, up until recent, to plague my human experience. Was my inability to speak up for myself, to internalize a lot of emotions and essentially poison myself because of the fact that I wasn't expressing the way that I felt about things. And it's really crazy because I always thought that it was one of those things where it would upset others, or it would, ruffle feathers, or it would cause strife and issues. And the reality of the nature is I've been actually completely mind blown by it, is the fact that it's done the exact opposite. By expressing how I feel, it makes others know exactly where I stand and how I feel about things. And as a result of that, it's easier to communicate. It's easier to find, the balance. It's easier to find the solutions when people communicate properly. So it's been completely, again, like a story that I created, for one reason or another from a previous experience that made me live inside of that. And breaking down that paradigm and seeing the absurdity of that has allowed me to step into a place where, I respect myself, I respect my choices, I respect my time, I respect the people that I spend time with, and I respect myself to put myself around great people who have good values and good ethics. And that's created a higher quality existence for me in so many ways. I respect myself, and I, do the things every day, getting into the cold plunge, sitting in the sauna even when I don't feel like it, going to the gym and exercising, eating properly, not getting distracted by, food, or getting distracted by other people's habits and patterns, by really staying focused on what is important to me, which is, my wellness, the people that matter the most to me, their wellness and happiness, Raveraide, everything that I'm working on, the other businesses that I have, those are the things that really are important to me at this juncture in my life. And those things will change over time. But it's one of those things where right now, that's where my energy and my focus get pushed to, because out of self-respect, I owe it to myself. I owe it to you as a listener. I owe it to our customers and family members here at Raveraide to show up every single day, because I respect you as a listener. I respect our customers. I respect myself enough to know that, there's things that I have to do on a daily basis to make sure that this succeeds and this becomes what I know that it can become. And I respect God and the universe for giving me the opportunity to even be alive to experience this, because there could just be nothing, and I've had that thought many times, but that's for another episode. But it's important to respect yourself. If you don't respect yourself, the likelihood of you creating to your highest ability is next to none. And sometimes that's going to require difficult conversations with yourself. It's going to require transparency and honesty and looking at the truth inside of yourself. And it's also going to require you to potentially have hard conversations with others as well. It's one of those things where, there's going to be shifts that happen because the version of yourself energetically that created the reality where you haven't respected yourself has created side effects and essentially byproducts, of that cause, which is people, places, things, and experiences that aren't for your highest good, and things are going to move and they're going to shift and they're going to clear out. So then that way you're creating space, an opportunity for something new to come in, something better, something that's more aligned, something that, validates and reflects back to you from the universe the belief system that I do respect myself. I do respect the people that are important to me. I respect, everything that I get to do. I'm grateful for the things I get to do on a daily basis. And then it's going to reflect back to you in positive ways. And that's such a beautiful thing that, I really just want you to know that self-respect is very important. Self-respect and doing the things that you need to do and no one's looking, when doing the things that, you could cut a corner, but you're not going to because you owe it to yourself to give it all and be all out in everything that you're doing. Because we all have to answer those questions at the end of the day when everything's, nearing completion. And, I can speak from, firsthand experiences through almost dying. Like, you don't want to be on the at the end of it and not be able to do anything about it. You wanted to live this life in a way where I'm all in every single way, every single day. I'm always doing my best. I'm self-respecting myself. I'm showing up. I have a healthy partner. I have a healthy career and passion. I did the things that I wanted to do with my life. And subsequently, as a result of that, I don't have to answer those hard questions, or I get to answer those questions, but in a positive way, in a way that I'm satisfied with. And a lot of that comes down to self-respect. And so I really want you to take the time to reflect with yourself and ask yourself in what ways you've allowed, a lack of strong self-respect to keep you in stuck situations. Because the second that you become aware of it, after a while, it'll become intolerable. As you continue to keep growing and healing, you'll no longer tolerate those things that pull you back into, a predictable past and have you repeating patterns that are not for your highest good. And that's what's going to put you into a place where you become truly powerful. And you become what it is that I know that you're capable of becoming. You become the things that, I've experienced in my life in my own unique way. And obviously I'm still always healing and growing and becoming what it is that I want to become and desire to become. But I can speak, from a firsthand experience that it doesn't matter where you're at right now. That part's irrelevant. You can become more than you are right now because you can have more than you are right now because you can become more than what you are right now. And through that process of evolution and metamorphosizing who you are, it's going to put you into a place where, the version of you right now isn't who the version is that's going to be in 5 years from now, who self-respected themselves and self-loves themselves and does the things that they know that they need to do. You don't even identify to that old version anymore. Anytime I'm speaking of my past and the things I've experienced, I don't even identify to that. I almost don't even bringing up any part of it because of the fact that I don't resonate with that at all. But I use it as an opportunity for a teaching lesson and a way to help you know that I wasn't always this way. And I wish I could show you that version. I wish I had video. I wish I had some way of showing to you the version of myself who I was before, because it would give so many people hope or knowing or inspiration that they can do anything that they want to do and they can become anything that they want to become. Because the person from that time frame wouldn't be on a microphone speaking about anything. It'd be disassociated, detached, and in a place where I have zero self-confidence or self-respect to do anything significant, living in fear, living in low frequency paradigms. And I'm telling you that you can make those changes. It's possible. But we have to bring in awareness. We have to start standing up for ourselves. We have to start having self-respect and setting boundaries with others, setting boundaries with our work, setting boundaries with the things that, aren't necessarily ideal that we want to change. So then that way we set the standard and the tempo for what we expect our future to be. So that way we can get more reflections back of what it is that, we believe internally. Because all our life is it's the sum total of what our beliefs is and what we're willing to tolerate and what our standards are. That right there is what's going to help you free yourself on a physical level, on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, in every single way. It's going to put you in a place where you are going to become, the controller of your destiny. And you're going to be the one who gets to make the decisions that are in accordance with your highest good. And as a result of that, you're going to impact so many people positively and help heal so many people by setting that example. The reason that I think so many people struggle in this lifetime is not because they're not capable. I think everyone's capable. They don't have good examples. They don't have good examples, good reference points. Most people don't live to their highest capacity, or they live in ego, or they live in places that are not ideal. So there needs to be people that lead that example, that carry that out on a daily basis and do what's best for the whole, not just for themselves. Everybody knows somebody who does things with their own best interest in mind, and that could come at the cost of others. The world needs people who are leaders that aren't just thinking about just themselves. They're thinking about the whole. They're thinking about how they can help improve the quality of existence on this planet for as many people as possible. They need that example. And so being that example is important to me, in any way that we can, and there's a lot of great examples out there. You just have to look for them. They're there. And those are the people we should be idolizing. Those are the people that we should be celebrating. Those are the people that we should want to be like, because obviously in our own unique way, because all of us have a special unique gift to give with the world, give to the world. But what I'm getting at is, like, we need to be focusing more on these type of things, cultivating self-respect, discipline, loving ourselves, doing the deep inner work, healing up our traumas and shadows. So then that way we can start stepping into what's actually possible for this entire planet. And it only comes through each and every one of us doing the work. I will never do the work for you. You will always do the work. And there's the beauty in that is you doing the work is what's going to make you self-love and self-respect and self-appreciate yourself on such a deep level. I just want to be here to help you. That's all that I'm here to do. I'm here to assist in any way that I can, and hopefully condense and expedite your healing process, or give you that encouragement and motivation to do so. And so I'm going to wrap up today's episode. The importance of self-respect is everything. It's something that I lacked for a long time. It's something that I, really struggled with for a long, long time. And it's one of those things that, has helped me become more of what I know that I'm capable of becoming. Because when I see something that's not right, or something that is overstepping a boundary that I have, then I speak on those things. I stand up for myself. I protect that child within myself and stand up for myself in ways that I couldn't always say that I was before. And it's something that I want each and every person to experience, because if everyone had healthy boundaries and self-respect, people wouldn't be getting taken advantage of. They wouldn't be getting used. They wouldn't be being manipulated, in mass quantities. It'd be one of those things where people are sovereign and powerful in their own strength, and it would put them into a place where they would be able to have full autonomy over their life decisions and know that they're able to tap into, their higher faculties and choose what is best for them, and always what's best for them, and not have it come at the expense of others as a result of that. So, be sure to integrate whatever felt true to you in this episode. Again, like I always preach this from the mountaintops, it's all about integration. It's all about taking what we're talking about on these episodes and in these moments that I'm sharing with you and you're sharing with me, to actually embody that version of yourself, to step into that version of yourself. Because if you don't do that and you just go back to running the program that you're running right now, the subconscious program that's kept you stuck where you're at, where you're not as satisfied as you could be, nothing's going to change. The only time that things change is when you change. When you make the change, everything around you shifts and changes. That's all this is. Everything is just reverberating back to you. It's reflecting back to you. And so integrate those things. Find a way to gain more awareness around what we talked about today and set that boundary. Have that hard conversation. It's going to feel really uncomfortable potentially because your body is not used to standing in that type of power. We have to recondition our bodies with our minds. And when we do that, that's what helps us step into, the most advanced version of ourselves yet. And so integrate what feels true to you, integrate what resonates for you from these episodes, and then go apply them. Go help yourself heal, go help others heal through the process of doing the deep inner work. So in that way, we can all be what it is and that we're capable of being. So as always, really appreciate every single one of you guys who purchase our products and support our mission here at Raveraide, because obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, that it's so much more than just a product. It's about a consciousness movement towards helping more people heal and self-actualize the best version of themselves. And you purchasing our product and using our supplement not only helps you on a physical, mental, and spiritual level with your health, which is obviously the most important thing, because if we're not healthy, we can't actualize these greater versions of ourselves. And it's helping you on that level, but you're also helping us with pushing the mission forward and gaining more exposure and allowing people to find something positive, because there's so much negativity in this world. And we just want to be that shining light in any way that we can be, and be an example towards something that's greater for our planet. And we can do that together in such an easy and effortless way. And I just want you to know that when you guys support what we're doing here, your money is going towards helping the planet, helping the humans on this planet, because we are, we're the guardians of this planet. We're the ones who are meant to take care of this planet. We haven't done a very good job of it due to unconsciousness and due to, the wrong people having a say in, the decisions for all of us. I think we all deserve to have an equal say in how things happen on this planet. And I think if we come together and unify more, we're going to really start to see a lot of lasting change. And I know there's a lot of amazing people out there doing a lot of amazing work, and we're just, in our corner wanting to do our piece. So without further ado, guys, be sure to check us out at www.drinkraveraide.com. And as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys who tune in on a daily basis. And I hope that you're gaining a lot of value out of what we're doing here. So hope you guys have an amazing day. Peace.